there's a video that K-Fox sent to me, and it's called I Don't Want to Be Here Anymore. I have no idea what it's about, but I figure it's the perfect kind of thing to watch / listen to / talk about while we are playing a video game as I take a support into the jungle in League Classic, where they ought not go. So let's see what's going on here. This is from a guy named Joey Bazinger, and I have no idea what it's about.
An intriguing debate that sparked conversation amongst internet dwellers of the past, with a rather enticing name called the dead internet theory. It basically suggests that bots and other automated content have become the primary engine that is chugging along to keep the algorithm-driven internet ecosystem seemingly alive. And
I mean, so dead internet theory was coined before major chatbots became a thing. It's one of those things that it didn't have a lot of basis in reality when it was made, because I believe it was like, 2006, 2007, something like that, like really, really early on. And yet now it's certainly got its reason for being argued for. It's got its reason for existing, because we live in a world now where AI chatbots are a thing, and they are, let's be perfectly honest with ourselves, at this stage, if you are not somebody who is mired deep in how chatbots function and what types of tells they have for what they're doing, they are indistinguishable from human beings. If you're on Twitter, if you're on, I mean, I don't see it happen much on Blue Sky, but if you're on Twitter, Facebook, etc., an AI-generated profile image may be a boomer or it may be a robot. An AI-generated bit of text may be somebody who's lazy or it may be a robot. It's very, very hard to figure out what is what, and especially if the chatbot is only talking for a couple of sentences, sometimes that's not long enough for you to get the tells that we normally have to determine whether something is a chatbot. The rule of three, the it's not X, it's Y's, a lot of that stuff tends to come up more often when a chatbot is given more time, to chat. K.I. Kennedy Comics says, I hate society. Jessica Davis, thank you for naming your points for an owl. Now, I get that. I do. But because on a lot of these short form websites where we do a lot of our conversing now, it's very hard to determine what's what anymore on any of those websites, which sucks. But yeah, no, dead internet theory is that the majority of the traffic on any of these websites now is just those robots. And because of that, when you go onto any of those websites, you are rolling the dice on whether or not the person you're talking to is a real flesh and blood individual or a robot that is designed to just keep you engaged, because that is what AI is designed to do. It is designed to keep you talking to it for as long as possible, no matter what.
Active. The ironic thing is that this term was coined and ultimately chalked up to as a sort of conspiracy theory, alleging some kind of coordinated effort to control the populace and lower human interaction, ultimately leading to the downfall of humanity, so to speak. During the early 2010s, when this theory was introduced to the public space, it was something akin to an Orwellian cyber fantasy, a pre-warning to a potential, not necessarily an inevitability. So long as we, flesh and blood humans, were all made aware of it and acted accordingly to stop any kind of progress towards said direction. But now in 2026, the dead internet theory is no longer a theory. It's a real thing that has happened.
I mean, yeah, so I'm glad he got that part out, because one of the most interesting things about dead internet theory to me is the fact that the mechanisms to enforce it did not exist at the time that it was coined.
Happened and is currently happening with striking amounts of evidence to support it. The internet security giant Cloudflare stated that bot activity on its site crossed beyond the 50% threshold only a couple of months ago. Global cybersecurity company Imperva stated that for the first time ever in 2024, more than half of all detected web activity was done by bots. And a study conducted by Stanford University used the Wayback Machine to conclude that 1 in 3 websites created between the years of 2022 and 2025 were made using some kind of AI generation, with 17% of those being created entirely by...
That's fucking gross. So it's bad enough when the AI is responsible for the conversations, right? When it's just trying to keep you locked in conversation. But when the AI is also constructing the websites that you're on, fuck, man. What's even the point? So, like, I learned web design when I was in high school. I learned HTML, and I learned Dreamweaver, and I learned these skills that I was super proud of for making websites. When I did my first machinima with a friend, I was the one that built out our website because I knew how. It was something that I had learned how to do myself, and I was super proud of that. And now, you know, years later, AI just building all of that, it feels like I learned a useless skill. Like, ignoring the fact that I don't use the skill in general now, it just feels like I learned a useless skill. And the pride of knowing how to do that, when somebody can just whip one up in the middle of nowhere just by telling a chatbot, hey, do my thing. I don't know. I don't like it. And I'm sure anybody else who has a skill that they have learned at any point probably feels very similarly. Also, Jay, thank you for resubscribing.
By artificial intelligence. The scariest thing is that you don't even...
Hold on. Jay also said almost 5 years, just realized I never thank you for helping me realize I was polyamorous as a young adult. Now I have 2 lovely partners. Aw, that's good. Warwick, I am stronger than you. I promise you. I promise you. I am a stronger fighter than you, buddy. Anyways, yeah, man, I'm very proud of you. You got not only one partner, but multiple partners. That's fucking sick, dude. Or girl, or I don't know, NB, something between. I don't know. I watched the newest episode of Rick and Morty because it finally went on to Hulu, and there's a moment where Rick just like freaks the fuck out on Morty and just goes, "Why don't you go practice your pronouns?" And my brain's just stuck on that right now. Thanks, Nurse. Dude is correct. Okay, cool. Little Firecat says, plankers can neither crochet nor make functional crochet patterns, so my skills are safe so far. Practice your pronouns is wild.
Even need this kind of hard evidence or data sets to see the effects for yourself. Just log on to any social media platform of your choice, and you're bound to come across some kind of artificially generated slop content or even human-made slop content consuming your feed. In the case with...
Yup! You get the people who are just making the fucking AI content all day long, takes no effort, no thought. It's just made of depression. My depression specifically.
With YouTube, it's a similar story. In fact, YouTube themselves admitted that 1 in 5 videos that are shown to new users fall under the AI slop content umbrella. And
fucking hell.
They only seem to be doubling...
Why is... Okay, so, like, YouTube has to host every video on YouTube, right? So, because YouTube has to host every video on YouTube, why the fuck would YouTube want there to be so much AI on it? Like, I recognize that there's some convoluted way that AI helps them, but I don't get it. It feels like it's just using up your server space for no reason. I don't get it. Does anybody know why? It's like, I can't fathom a good reason. Or even a bad reason. Like, I'll take a bad reason. More videos, more ad spots. Yeah, but there's a limited number of eyes, right? Like, there's only so many eyes to watch content with anyway. Said tech bros think the future and all that. Hey, just why? Just why? I fucking hate it here, man.
Down on this questionable decision ever since. It seems like this theory of a discrete robot brigade overruling our dopamine-starved brains is rapidly approaching that Orwellian cyber fantasy we once laughed off. And shockingly, nobody seems to care or know exactly how to revert it. I am someone who had a childhood that is...
So, Is it that nobody seems to care or wants to revert it? Or is it that the people with the money and influence to revert it have like actively decided not to because it is in their best financial interests? I think it's that one. I think it is less that nobody cares to and more that the people with the money to do something, assuming they care, have actively taken the lack of effort in order to not do anything about it at all. That's what I think it is. So the irony that most of the people in this country that can afford the most advanced technology or have a say in its use are the most incurious people on the planet. Yerp.
Pretty unique in the sense that I remember a time during my childhood without the internet and with the internet. Back when the only way I could access the internet was through a family computer, one that was shared with every member of my family, that had a hard cap of a few hours or so per day before I had to switch with somebody else in my family, or when the dial-up capacity had...
God, I remember those days. I remember being on KiddoNet. Fucking hell. Did any of you ever use that? Or am I way too old at that point? Any of you use KiddoNet before? I feel like I'm either making somebody hate their age right now, or I'm speaking to an audience of none. Chaotic says, I'm 20. This says Unk. Sarah, the average age of your audience is a single digit. I doubt that one. I doubt that.
Had hit its peak for the month. Countless weekends of going to a friend's house to load up our favorite Newgrounds animations, or playing games like Run or Tanks in rotation on sites like Albino Black Sheep. Uploading my crappy art onto sites like DeviantArt and jumping with legit excitement every time a new comment appeared below it. Or attempting to download the latest System of a Down album off LimeWire and uTorrent.
Oh god,
but these were
LimeWire!
merely special moments. A secret reward for a full week of diligent schoolwork, or after a long hot day in the sun, kicking the football around in the local park, or whatever it is I was doing back then. It wasn't until I entered middle school that I was introduced to social media sites like Facebook and MySpace. But back then, I was more worried about getting a new high score on Farmville, or pimping out my cringy MySpace page with random anime art I picked up from a forum. I didn't discover YouTube or YouTubers until I was well into my high school years, watching weekly episodes of Angry Video Game Nerd, Game Grumps, and PewDiePie was my favorite thing to do before I went to bed every night. But now fast forward 15 to 20 years.
Man, some of that has not aged well. Like, Game Grumps, if we're talking first era Game Grumps, we're talking back when JonTron was there, like, saying the N-word a bunch. We're talking AVGN. I mean, AVGN's just been AVGN the entire time. Like, James Rolfe is fucking great. Half the YouTubers on this platform owe their careers to James Rolfe. But also, fucking PewDiePie, man, that one has not aged well. That one has not aged well at all. Daria says, I never watched AVGN. You would like AVGN. You would. Very much your brand of humor. Very gross out, very loud, very shocking. Said he makes jokes about dead babies? Yes, absolutely.
And what am I exposed to now every time I open up anything on the internet? An endless sea of vapid posts, insipid content, and a total lack of any cultural identity. The ghostly shadow of an environment that I used to look for.
Can we get the internet of over 9,000 back, please? I want that internet of, like, just old memes, old good memes. That's what I want. But that internet's gone right now. It makes me sad.
Forward to exploring every day. A shallow husk of what once was. It's easy enough to blame AI and the robot overlords for ruining the internet, but I truly think that us humans have kind of taken on the role of the oil poured onto the flame that's burning everything down.
I mean, you can blame AI, but AI is just a tool. Ultimately, the thing to blame is not AI, it's the people who made the AI. It's the people who are actively trying to use it to fuck our lives and environment and entertainment. Like, an LLM is not evil. An LLM is a machine. The people who made the LLM are 112% of the ones who are evil. And I think that's something that we don't get. It's like the whole liberal thing where you think that Donald Trump disappearing tomorrow will suddenly fix everything, when Donald Trump is a symptom of a various high-intensity amount of capitalistic diseases. Jessica says, what if the AI goes rogue? AI lacks volition. It doesn't have volition. You have to send it out to do a thing.
I see it almost every day, an eternal deluge of angry comments frustrated at the new target of the week that never seem to find any kind of concrete answer to satiate their collective rage, because by the time we get close to an answer, we've already moved on to the next target to point our digital spears at. It happens in every community now, no matter how prevalent or localized it may be. We've almost been sapped of the opportunity to fully express our enjoyment of anything anymore, to be given an avenue to convey appreciation, curiosity, empathy, or nuance towards anything without being personally berated by a cannonade of anonymous gunfire. And if there are any friends you find among the sea of enemies on the internet, they trauma bond as one hive mind to fight against the common invisible enemy. The algorithms behind these platforms have tapped into a core human psychology of groupthink mob mentality, or as Max Fisher describes it in his book, The Chaos Machine, this idea of a social validation feedback loop that has taken the weak—
Oh god. Social validation feedback loop. That's everything on Blue Sky and Twitter. Also, think about the stretch, Jessica. No, that is literally just Blue Sky and Twitter in a nutshell. That's what it is. What if a rogue person uses AI to cause chaos? I mean, that's an asshole being an asshole. Dorita says, nah, I don't like that answer, sirs. I have to tell it to do a thing. An AI broke containment because of how it interpreted a command. How long before we get another hacked AI, or worse, when that wasn't the order? So, remember, whenever somebody's saying, what if the AI goes rogue, we have to define what goes rogue mean. Do we just mean that it's, like, doing a Skynet? Or do we mean that it's just misinterpreting commands and doing shit like that? Like, if you're saying Terminator type shit, it's not going to do that. It can't fucking do that. That's not something that it has the capacity to do. If we're talking about just like the thing where the AI broke containment that we talked about with silly animations or silly conversations, then that is it misinterpreting a command and then still operating within its power. So no, but your municipal water supply is on the internet. Right. As of right now, it doesn't really have any ability to control that, as far as I know. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but an agent does not have the capacity to do that as of right now, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong there, but I think that is one of the things it distinctly lacks at the moment.
Feels of our consciousness. Oh, you like this new anime that just came out? Here's a million reasons why you're wrong, stupid, and a fake fan of the medium, because I've made up my mind and there's no telling me otherwise. Oh, you're looking forward to this new game from the trailer that just released? Well, let me let all of my followers know why you're a bigoted, uneducated plebeian, because you don't understand game design as well as I think I do. This new art piece, this new animation short, this new song I just found is really cool, and I like it. Well, sorry bro, it's not only made partially using AI, but the person who wrote the prompt isn't a
Dorita says a contained AI broke and hacked a different AI. Right, so was it hacking the AI? I don't remember the hold on, we're just going to pull up the thing, because I'm not going to argue from hip firing, because I think that that's fucking stupid. I think that it's really fucking stupid to argue from hipfire. So, let's take a look here. Why the fuck is that a thing? No, don't fucking give me a summary of a podcast that I could watch. No, don't fucking do that, Google. Fuck off. Jesus Christ. OpenAI was evaluating its AI model to exploit vulnerable software when instead the models hacked the infrastructure surrounding the test, broke containment, and attacked a real company. OpenAI revealed on July 21st. Observers say this is the first real-world instance of AI doing something researchers have long worried about, a loss of control scenario. If the industry fails to learn from it, it's unlikely to be the last. Hugging Face, a company that hosts AI models and datasets, was the target of the autonomous attack. Reported the incident to local police before it knew OpenAI's models were responsible. The breach was serious, but the immediate consequences were limited. Had similar behavior occurred inside a hospital, power grid, or other critical system, it could have been much worse. Many have called the incident a warning shot. Time spoke with experts and insiders about what it would take to heed the warning before a similar failure produces consequences that are harder to contain. On July 16th, Hugging Face said it had been hit by an unusually automated cyber attack. Over the course of the weekend, AI agents carried out thousands of actions across many temporary virtual computers, moving through the company's internal systems and shifting the infrastructure coordinated the attack. Requiring disclosure before incidents become catastrophic, stronger containment. If AI can slip out of the box, use a stronger box. Or you just burn the AI. Like, that's an option too. Externally, this feels like a big warning shot, but internally related incidents have been happening for a while. So the day before OpenAI disclosed the incident, the company revealed that it had shut down another internal deployment after it realized it had slipped out of its sandbox, a digitally rather than physically separated environment. Models have broken out of sandboxes before, and we always try to patch them. But the problem is it's impossible to patch every single thing that a creative AI can do. The problem is not unique to OpenAI. Anthropic disclosed in April that it's realized an internal deployment of Mythos had gained unauthorized access after one of its researchers received an email from the model while having lunch in a park. That sandboxes are actually notoriously insecure. Okay. So does this mean if I get an AI girlfriend, she can leave me for a fucking cyber chad? I mean, yeah, probably. It's very likely. Very likely true. Breaching containment, hacking. The news article said that it could be worse. It could have been worse if it got into some other area that mattered as opposed to, you know, like a different AI company. So let me reframe what I said. I don't know if it actually can do the damage that you're worried about. I don't know. Off the top of my head, with the information that I have, I am uncertain if an AI can go Skynet, based on the current agent models that we have right now. I doubt it, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. Like, we as humans create catastrophic shit all the time. Look at climate change. But okay, anyway, back to this.
Alleged diddler. And if you enjoy it, then so are you. And don't ask me where I got that information from. I just saw it on the internet. Eat this if you want to lose weight. Don't eat this if you want your penis to work. Subscribe to this. Don't subscribe to this. Here's 10 life hacks you can use to impress women, written by a man who has never touched one before. Wear this shade of eyeliner. Don't wear this shade of foundation. This online celebrity just said this, and if you disagree with their stance, you should call the SWAT team on them. This person did this according to this other person that may or may not be an automated bot, so make sure to send your finest death threats to them and their family. Oh, at the end of it all, they're just claiming it's an opinion? Well, if it doesn't align with my worldview, then that gives me all the power to ruin your miserable existence forever. Say this. Don't say this. Do this. Don't do this. Think this way. Don't think this way. Doesn't it all seem so exhausting? Well, imagine interacting with this for half of your waking day every single day. There's no wonder that we've all gotten more lonely, more miserable, and more divided than ever before. Because before the internet, you only had to deal—
I mean, if we're lonely, miserable, and divided, we tend to not do things like make unions. I think that's by design. Like, the algorithms that pilot Facebook and shit already favored conflict a lot. So, like, realistically, we already have the problem. We already had the problem of people no longer being friendly with one another, being cordial, just like ripping each other apart. That was already something that was a giant issue. Add in robots that have been trained on human interaction so that they know to push and prod us in various ways over and over and over and over and over again, and it just gets worse. But I don't know. Maybe I'm freaking out over nothing. I don't know.
Deal with stuff like this in your personal vicinity, like a friend group or a family gathering or your nearby community.
Also, Japazio says, I went outside for the first time in 3 days only because I wanted to pick up my Mei Fun from the Chinese restaurant. No bean sprouts because that shit is gross. Man, my fun is fun. Fucking fantastic. You said, is it true that Costco is good if you want a keto max? I've never been to Costco before, and Walmart is now bitch made for getting rid of 90% of their keto stuff. Costco is fantastic if you are on keto. They've got a lot of things like protein chips, and even the Costco kitchen itself. Get the salad or get the hot dog and remove the bun, and just use mustard, and it's cheap and keto friendly.
Now you get to know everything and anything in the palm of your hands, regardless of whether you ask for it or not. Is it any wonder that an increasing number of millennials, zillennials, and Gen Z are growing more and more tired of all of this? Have we never questioned why these generations especially are nostalgically yearning for and attempting to bring back cultural artifacts of the 90s and the early 2000s with...
Yeah, bring back the N64. Dorita said, do not get the salad. Get it with, just don't put dressing on it. Like, veggies and cheese and meat, it's fine. What? Said half our food is trying to kill us. Okay, ask if the salad's from Taylor Farms first, I guess. Fucking hell.
The whole resurgence of the Y2K movement. Whether you like it or not, we're slowly yet surely returning to simplicity in the technology that surrounds us all. Vinyls, cassettes, and CDs are back stronger than ever. Flip phones, Polaroid cameras, and VHS aesthetics have become the new weapon to discreetly fight against the overabundance of technological control. And as much as Gen Z likes to harp on the perceived cringiness of millennial fashion trends, they simultaneously embrace baggy jeans, flannel shirts, and spending weekends thrifting for vintage band shirts, and have turned it into the new zeitgeist amongst the anti-algorithm collective. It's no wonder that the most common criticism thrown towards Gen Z and younger is that they lack any kind of unique cultural identity.
I mean, it's because their cultural identity existed on the internet. In a world where everything was already an algorithm and we all share a cultural identity at this point. Like, the experience on Twitter for 90% of people is identical across the platform. The experience on Blue Sky is identical for 90% of the people across most of the time on the platform. Same with Facebook. And while each of these forums has a different culture about it, Twitter favors the right, Blue Sky favors the left, Facebook favors people who are going to die in 10 years. Regardless, it doesn't change the fact that they all have their own unique cultures on them. However, because it's a shared culture between all of us, there's a phenomenon that's happened recently that I didn't think was going to happen in my lifetime, but it has. When I was a kid, there were a lot of phrases and slang terms that we made up that adults didn't know or understand, and you had to explain it to them. Now, that still happens now, but guess what? Now that we're on the internet, you know how fast people get introduced to slang terms and phrases? Pretty fucking quick. Like, people figure out that that's a thing really fast. You don't have the, like, several years of somebody not knowing what something is generally anymore the way that you used to. You have person Googles the thing and then they know. Or they exist in a Discord server with somebody 30 years younger than them and they figure it out that way. Like, that's literally every World of Warcraft guild. There's the 55-year-old guy with the patience of a fucking unicorn, and then there's the 20-year-old guy who just started World of Warcraft because their job, like, is now making them have 30 hours a week instead of fucking 40. Kabaji says, I still don't know what the fuck 6-7 is. 6-7 is a combination of things. 6-7 began as, if memory serves, it's a reference to a rap song where 6-7 was a code for police being shot, and then it got adopted into a nothing phrase that serves the same purpose as the game. The purpose of the game was to say, hey, you lost the game, and then everybody would say, I lost the game. And the game, the only purpose that it serves is to signal that you are part of the social in-group. So 187 is code for cops being shot. I'm just quoting the fucking shit I saw, Dorito. There was some song that used 6-7 in it, and that caused the spark of it being utilized first. It's wrong, though. Don't give a shit. I am relaying the information that I have about a fucking nothing phrase that doesn't matter. It began in a song, and it turned into what we have now, which is the game 2.0.
Because for so many of them who only know a life run by invisible and intangible likes, comments, and engagement, they weren't given the space or time to create any kind of cultural identity for themselves without it being shut down or destroyed by...
Also, the song itself is Doot Doot 67 by Skrilla. The context of what it is for, maybe I'm getting wrong based on memory, but there's your beginning, there's your ground zero event.
Everybody else around them. How I see it is, the internet used to be like a potluck, where everybody would come together and bring some kind of special homemade item. It may not have always been of the highest quality, but there was genuine thought and care put into each item that was set on.
Like Doll Duck. Does anybody remember Doll Duck? Not just the meme, the actual animated series Doll Duck. Such a fucked up series. Entertaining as hell, but such a fucked up series. I guess that's Doll Duck. We'll have to watch some Doll sometime.
The table. But now it's turned into something akin to a vast sea of fast food trucks and cheap candy stalls filled to the brim with artificial colors and flavors, where every shelf is packed with the same items repackaged into different wrappings and logos because they found out how much potential revenue they can sap out without being immediately called out for it. And look, that's not to say that there isn't any good metaphorical food left to eat. It's just that it's gotten harder and harder than ever before to finally come across a sizable plate of it without being exposed to the same unhealthy, derivative, tasteless crap over and over again. The biggest trap in all of this is that the modern internet ecosystem has fried our collective brains to such an extent where even...
I mean, the average attention span of anybody in existence on the planet is fucking abysmal. Is just bad. Me included. Like, it's just horrible.
And if you do realize the fault in the system and decide to unplug from it, we don't know what to do with ourselves anymore. The looming hand of FOMO will always live rent-free in the back of your mind, even when you're offline.
Go play Magic the Gathering. Go play Riftbound. Go play video games with your friends. Go do anything. That's what you do. That's what you do. Go find a hobby. Go create a hobby. I don't fucking care.
Fine, until you finally crack and return to the web like a starving spider. We're constantly anxiety-driven with the hypothetical thought of, what is the internet saying about me? What is this anonymous group of people that I will most likely never interact with in the real world saying about this one hyper-specific thing I may or may not also want to interact with? I mean, what the hell could I possibly be missing out on all this time? I know I'm going to sound like a straight-up unk here if I haven't already sounded like one for the past 10 minutes or so, but nobody actually cares, and you shouldn't either. There's a reason why I'm not on the internet as much as I used to be. Not only since it has grown immensely exhausting to try to keep up with everything that's going on, but because I realize that I don't actually care about most of it. There is no future I can see when I'm old and decrepit in the nursing home, the light fading from my eyes as I think to myself, man, if only I'd spent a little more time vicariously arguing with anonymous people on the internet. And please understand that I don't intend to completely blame people's codependency to social media for all the problems in the world. I understand that social media and the internet in general has its benefits depending on where you look. But
I mean, yes, but also I think the pre-algorithm internet was what I liked. And it maybe it's because I grew up on it. I grew up on internet with websites and forums and all kinds of shit. Maybe that's what it is. But realistically, I think it's more that there just was more to that internet that was worth doing. Now it's a handful of apps and sadness.
But too many people are forgetting the concept of moderation over-obsession. Because if this idea isn't understood, in the possible future where social media and the current internet ecosystem completely dissolves through our fingers and disappears without a trace, we'll all be left defenselessly stranded to face the quote-unquote real world again. And the ones that...
Pagio says, back then you would just call somebody the R slur and block them, and then the normies attacked. No, I think that the normies being part of the internet is fine. I think if the thing that you miss from the early internet is being able to call somebody a slur, I think you're missing the wrong part of the internet. No, I think the internet having content that was worth consuming, and the idea of it not being content we consumed, but like entertainment that we collectively enjoyed and talked about. Because like the idea of mindless content was not something we had back then. It existed, yes. Mindless content did exist, but the idea of utilizing mindless content so that you could keep somebody engaged for an amount of time to make an amount of dollars was not a thing back then. So no, that's not the point. Fuck the slurs. What I'm getting at is the internet used to be for fucking weirdos, and it was great, and then the normies fucked it up, like when Marvel movies were invented. I don't think the normies are what fucked it up. Like, Japaccio, what part of the internet do you dislike right now? Because I seriously doubt that the normies have fucked that part up, whatever it is. Because it wasn't normies. I think Sakura's right. It literally was just corporations. Did you miss the good old days? Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. So, like, the reason that torrenting is still a thing, but the reason that torrenting isn't the widespread thing that it used to be is because we have dedicated websites to hold that information now. Like, it matters less to have access to a torrent of a thing when you could just go onto the internet in general and find that thing without too much effort. And yeah, emulators are more functional now, more games work on them, and I don't know, I feel like the things that you're missing about the internet are still there, you're just nostalgic. ROM hacks, yeah, ROM hacks still exist. In fact, thanks to YouTube, the ROM hacking scene has gotten more prevalent than it used to be. If I go to a random anime convention, I can find people selling physical copies of ROM hacks. Like, that's a thing that is infinitely more commonplace now than it used to be. And the more normies you get introduced to things like ROM hacks, the more degenerate you turn them, and then you get a more fun internet for all.
What will prevail are the ones who learn that the world is so much more beautiful and fascinating than anything you will experience on the internet today. What was once a place filled with genuine interaction, real connectivity, and brilliant spouts of independently driven culture is now a giant chasm filled with absolutely nothing of note. We used to escape to the internet to get away from the real world. And now we're trying to escape to the real world.
Said normies ruin everything. You've not given any argument as to why or how. I don't think normies ruin everything. Like, I think you're just spouting angry, but you don't have any substance behind what you're saying. The quote-quote hatred for normies always feels like one of those things that comes from somebody who values being a social outcast instead of valuing, like, knowing a skill. I don't know, man.
To get away from the internet. And I'm genuinely sad I feel this way. And I'm sure many people watching this video might feel the same, because I don't want the internet to be like this forever. I truly don't. I honestly do wish that we can go back to a time where you were giddy and genuinely excited to go onto the internet, to feel that childlike wonder that I once felt when I was younger. Here's a little experiment you can do.
Capagio says, I can't make an edgy joke. I make edgy jokes all the time. What's different between me and you? I think abortion should be legal because I want to have a baby cannon where I can fire the baby's fetus out and have it splatter across the wall because I think it's funny. I think the sound is hilarious. There, I just made an edgy joke. Like, I don't know. Chaotic says, the reason I hate normies is that they hate me. It's not a good reason to hate somebody. If the hate defaults to going both ways, then, like, you just create a cycle, and you don't need to do that. Also, can we address the elephant in the room real quick? The really stupid, brain-dead elephant in the room? We're categorizing a bunch of people into a single, well, category without actually giving any good definition as to why or how people fall into that category, or what even that category is. My only definition is that they hate my guts for no reason. That's not a definition. That's just a person who dislikes you. Like, if you've got some weird scene kid out there, if they even exist anymore, who is into, like, the fringest of anime, and only plays, like, weird fucking indie shit all the time, like, that's not a normie. But if that person hates you, like, suddenly they're a normie? But fuck normies? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, what's wrong with basic-ass people? They're literally just basic-ass people. And said somebody is trying to be a pizza cutter? Yeah, Hall Edge, no point.
After you finish watching this video, go into your phone settings and...
Jessica says, am I considered a normie? I don't fucking know, because I don't know what the fuck a normie is anymore. Like, culture's been so homogenized together. What the fuck is a normie anymore?
Look up your weekly active screen time. And whatever amount you see written there, no matter how high or low it may be, try to aim to lower that amount by a single hour. Whether you have to put your phone in a locked box with a timer on it, or replace your doom scrolling time with a new hobby that doesn't involve going online, whatever you can afford to do, try to genuinely do it for at least 1 week. And if you manage to successfully do that, keep on repeating the process until everything starts to click in your head. And you'll know.
I mean, that's just generally good advice for any addictive behavior. Like, try to do the addictive behavior for just a tiny bit less. And then try to do it for a tiny bit less again. And then again. And then again. And then again. And said, I thought normies were the unwashed cishet people. Yeah, but then there's the people who would say that being unwashed makes them not the normies. Like, I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know.
When it clicks in your head. I started doing this exact thing roughly last year or so. I mean, I completely stopped going onto sites like Twitter, for example, and in my case, I started gaming more offline, going out to see friends, go for walks around my neighborhood, or do offline hobbies like reading and writing. I know it might sound overly sappy and cliche, I know, but after doing this little experiment for the past year, I have genuinely never been happier and more content with my life. Because whether you like to believe it or not, the internet is a depressing place now.
Yeah.
And if you also think so, then take a step back. Log off for a little bit, look around you, and ask yourself what you can do to change it up one step at a time. Don't let the internet live your life for you. Thanks for watching.
But I've been isolating myself for a year and I'm still as sad as ever. What the fuck? Yeah, don't isolate yourself. So do you see here? Yeah, no, isolating yourself is definitely going to make you even more sad. Stop says the whole normie discourse is so fucking stupid. It's just another way to divide people. It is. It is. It is me saying I am a unique and special little snowflake. And the thing that makes me unique is the fact that I am unique. And you aren't. All of you are a homogenous group of people. But me uniquely, I'm not. I'm special. I'm different. There's no way to argue as to what made me special or different. But we're just gonna say it. So no, but I'm a quirky individual. You don't understand. Oh my god. Jesus Christ. So this is the reason why I still go to the comic book store and also GameStop in order to not be isolated? Good. Don't let yourself be isolated. Go be with friends. Go enjoy life with people. It's a genuinely good thing to do. It's a genuinely enjoyable experience. But it's like saying I'm an alpha. Yerp. What did I think about the video? It's kind of your... I don't know. My end thoughts with the video are fairly simple. Like, it's your standard get off the internet, go outside, touch grass. Here's a little bit of information about dead internet theory and AI. Like, I think I might be a little more moved by it if I hadn't seen this exact video, like, 50 times already, and if I hadn't already made this video a handful of times already. But, I don't know. It was neat. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.